As we transition to 2024, a lot of people we know have made New Year's resolutions, and one of them could very well be about your health, more specifically about weight and weight loss. We have some people who can help you with both. Joining us, we have St. Louis weight loss expert Charles D'Angelo and two of his clients, John Hercules and Colleen Morrissey. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for being here.
Our pleasure.
So Charles, I'm going to start with you. We've had you on the program before, but the stories are always so inspirational. But I want to talk about this time of year. Early January, when people talk about that resolution of oftentimes losing weight, do you see that as, what do you think about those resolutions?
Well, I think oftentimes resolutions don't work because unless a person really shifts their identity, they see themselves as fit, as healthy, as this is a vital part of who they are, it's a short-lived effort. So the key really comes to seeing yourself as vibrant, focused, energetic, all the things that you really aspire to be, acting as if that's who you are already. And then the dividend will become the weight loss, all the other aspects that come along, the aims that you set for yourself. I was 360 pounds 20 years ago, so over 20 years ago. So I know all too well what it feels like to be stuck. I was a size 56-inch waist. I couldn't make it up a flight of just 3 or 4 stairs without getting winded. I was bullied, I was teased. So I know how painful it is to be in that position, and it wasn't through some magical diet program or exercise device that my life changed. It was a change in my mindset, because we all know how many diets are there out there, exercise pieces of equipment, all these different things. If those things were the answer, we wouldn't see the problem we see on the streets, we wouldn't see the problem we see in the airports, I wouldn't have had the problem I had, Colleen wouldn't have the problem she had, and John wouldn't have had the problem that he had.
Colleen, you have an incredible story. Charles knows firsthand. He just told us what he went through, but you had a huge transformation, 105 pounds.
Yeah. In less than a year.
In less than a year. There's a visual we have for that to show you, Colleen, before and after. It's incredible.
It is. I would did not
What
believe
is that? Is that you?
That's me. I would not have believed it was possible. But when I talk to Charles and somebody sits down and tells you that it is possible, and they convince you, I was convinced, but I'd lost my husband, and then my father not long after that, and I was just really depressed and just using food to comfort myself, and just kind of lost myself until I spoke with Charles, and he answered me right away. I hung up the phone and he called. I was like, this can't be him, but you got to get somebody in that moment when they're really wanting to do it, and that's what he did, and I followed through, and I have so much more confidence now, and I was stuck in a job I wasn't happy with, but didn't have enough confidence to go look for another job, didn't want to interview, and now I'm making more money, I'm able to support my family.
You're off your blood pressure medicine?
I'm off my blood pressure medicine, yeah, and I've been taking that for 10 years, and I was told I'd never get off of it, and I'm not taking it now.
We hear about all different types of weight loss programs and regimens. What was different about this one?
I think Charles, first of all, there's no guesswork. Charles, you're not thinking about what am I going to make for dinner tonight. He takes all the guesswork out of it. But you have to trust the process. You have to, because when he says eat this and do that, I'm like, that's not going to do anything. That's not going to work. But it did.
And it's all real food.
It's just too. It felt like if it was this easy, everybody'd be doing it.
And the fact
you have to have somebody hold you accountable. You need somebody not to tell you, oh, you're just fine the way you are, because you're not. You're not healthy.
Charles, one thing that stuck out to me was Colleen was talking about confidence. Tell me what changes during the process, because people are in a place where they're not as confident and they don't have that mindset. And it sounds like you really work with them, not just on the physical.
So it's not some type of affirmation that we tell ourselves when we wake up in the mirror, I'm a great, strong person, because that's really shallow and empty. Those types of beliefs have to be backed by activity and by action. So the surefire way I've discovered to build real radical self-confidence and self-esteem is when you challenge yourself to do something you felt was difficult. I tell people all the time that it's a myth if you think that you're always going to feel like doing the right thing. So people say to me, what do I do if I don't feel motivated? Do it. It doesn't matter. I mean, there are days I wake up and I don't feel like going to the gym, or I may be with my wife and we're walking to the grocery store. You don't all of a sudden lose the attraction that you have to junk food. That doesn't go away. But what happens is you get stronger and stronger the more days you string together of staying with a consistent approach to eating, a consistent routine with exercise, and then, as Colleen said so well, making sure you have someone in your corner who not only has been there, and has been successful, but has shown that it's possible to keep the weight off. We're joined by another young man here who was here last year.
John, I want to hear your story again because it's so inspiring. You are 17 years old now, but when you were 15, you had started something that would change your life dramatically, and I'm going to show the before and after pictures. Tell us who that is on the left.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, every time I see that picture, it's mind-blowing.
You lost 75 pounds.
Yes.
And you've kept it off.
He was here last year
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, the skeptics out there will say, oh, it's great, Charles helps so many people, but how many people keep the weight off? And I always give this answer with a smile. I say, I won't ever be able to give a truthful answer until every one of my clients has died, because this is forever. And John's kept the weight off now about 1.5 years. And he's in high school and he's doing great. So you can talk about it, John.
Yeah, I want to hear about your story because it is a compelling one because you were dealing with some serious issues in your personal life.
Yeah, it all started a long time ago when my brother passed away, and that just caused serious depression in me, and I turned to food as an answer. And that's all I did. I ate, I stayed away from people, I never socialized. That's who I was. But eventually, I needed to change, and my parents, they found me Charles D'Angelo, and at first I didn't think it'd work because I tried other weight loss programs in the past, and they never worked. But Charles, his was completely different. The way he took, the approach he made, the way he helped you, and the way he believed in you, it was amazing. That really pushed me, and thanks to him, I lost all this weight.
How did you stay with it?
I had a lot of people in my corner. I had a lot of friends. I had I had my family supporting me, I had Charles supporting me, and I just stuck with it and didn't give up.
What would you say is the biggest success, John?
Definitely seeing the big difference and seeing the way I change, the way I socialize more, the way I'm more confident, and the way I'm able to move more and better. That is a huge difference, and I see it every day.
What's the situation at school been like now that you're free of all that extra weight? Have you noticed any difference in terms of how you interact with your peers and your friends?
I interact a lot more with people. I have made a lot more friends. I used to just stay in my own little bubble at school, stay from other people, but now I'm socializing, I'm getting out there more, and I'm meeting more people, and I'm making a lot of new friends. And it's just great. It makes me so happy to see the difference in how I'm able to socialize more with other people.
It's the confidence.
Absolutely, yes.
Tell me about your situation with confidence, Colleen.
Well, I was saying I was in a job that I was unhappy with. I was embarrassed to go around family and friends even. Even though they were on that journey with me, the grief journey and seeing me gain the weight, I was embarrassed to go. But then as I started losing weight, I mean, it really gives you confidence the first time you go to a family function and somebody goes, man, you've lost some weight.
Yeah.
And Charles will ask me who, and I'll say who, but anyway, my niece's boyfriend, he said it, and I said, well, he's always saying nice things. But he did notice, and it gives you that little boost. And then the next time when you go, because it happens so quickly, it seems like, when you do what he tells you to do. And then, the next time 3 people are like, what are you doing? You look great, and so that builds that confidence over time. So, at first you're starting to feel a little bit better, but then after a while you're like, wow.
So it's kind of like, you can think about it almost like sobriety. You've got to make a clean break from those old habits. So my clients don't indulge in junk food and even alcohol. Alcohol's out of the picture, at least while we're working toward the goal, because we really want to have a real nice clean break. Think about when you're in a toxic relationship with someone. You feel tempted to go back into it, even when all the people that care about you, all the people that love you say, hey, that's probably not the best thing for you. So the only way really out of it is to totally cut the cord on that, cut the cord on those things. Don't eat any junk, but you need to replace what wasn't working with what will. So you don't stop eating. My clients often are so shocked, as these two have said, because you're eating so much more. But everything you're eating has a purpose. Everything's at a certain time, in a certain order, in a certain amount, and it's all stuff you can get at Schnucks, Dierberg's, Aldi, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, wherever you shop.
No excuses.
It's all basic
no
stuff.
excuses.
Tell me about the fitness aspect to it, and I also want to hear about sleep, because we know that sleep is critical to any journey. Either of you.
I'll start, I guess. The fitness aspect was surprisingly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a strict regimen of working as hard as you can.
Grueling weight.
Grueling, yeah. But it's just walking.
You just walk on a treadmill, that's it.
It's all, and I was like, wait, what? That's it, really? But
I think that's why when he told me that, I was like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, I was
if
skeptical.
walking and just eating right worked, everybody would be skinny.
Would you say that walking is undervalued?
Absolutely. And I think that what's really overvalued is the importance of exercise on the impact of one's physiology. What really is going to transform the quality of your life is the quality of the relationship you have with yourself and food. What we do is we disconnect from using food in a relational way, and then we start to form relationships with other people. So John started to have buddies that he's hanging out with, and young ladies, I'm sure, that he's hanging out with at lunchtime, and he's spending time with people that matter. And when Colleen had the 2 losses in her life, she had to turn away from an inanimate object, food, and start to form relationship with people so that she could get what she was really after. Because I always tell people, when you find yourself reaching for a substance like food or alcohol or a hard drug or anything that really, from a medium to long-term perspective, has a destructive impact, often that just tells you that there's something significantly missing in your life. So we want to get rid of that low-level gratifier and really go after what's going to fill us up. What's going to fill us up? Better relationships. I mean, when the level of stress we experience is mediated by the quality of relationships we have. So if you have a really good relationship, even if it's not a romantic one, but it's with a friend or it's with family, ideally with yourself as well, you're not going to find it necessary to distract yourself or console yourself the way that you had been with food.
This is all great information, and I love that it applies to people of all walks of life.
Absolutely.
And to people who are in different stages and, from different circumstances are success stories, and they've kept it off.
Absolutely,
and that is
yes.
key to it. So we want to thank our guests, Charles, Colleen, and John, and apologize to all of you and our viewers for my coughing. Charles kind of took over as our co-anchor for a little bit, so I appreciate it.